When something happens, it is always you three.
If you think the Golden Trio got dealt a bad hand on screen, wait until you hear what the cast and crew of Harry Potter had to deal with while filming. From serious on-set accidents to the personal struggles of some actors, filming Harry Potter wasn't always a casual stroll through Hogwarts.
What the bloody hell was that all about?
It wasn't just Harry who had to find a way to stay underwater for a whole hour in the Goblet of Fire. Daniel Radcliffe had to do it without the help of Neville's gillyweed. In order to get the second task of the Triwizard Tournament done, Dan trained in huge water tanks for weeks with professionals, so when the time came he'd be able to do as much acting as possible underwater. But one day things went wrong when Dan confused some of the hand signals. Who knew a thumbs up could also mean, "Help, I'm literally drowning."
It was almost quite frustrating because the communication is so hard.
We hear about how Emma Watson is literally Hermione in real life, but we never talk about how similar Ron and Rupert are, especially when it comes to their playful personalities. But Rupert's humour got him into quite a bit of trouble on set. From day one, the actor was prone to bursting out into laughing fits that had the entire cast constantly refilming the same scenes over and over. We wouldn't be surprised if Rupert ever pulled a "why so serious" line as a joke. It might have set the filming back a tad, but it seems like everyone took his breaking character as a moment to just laugh things off.
Sorry.
Just listen to how fondly the cast and crew remember the experience.
And he just laughs all the time. You can't stop him once he starts.
Hogwarts might not have been your ordinary school, but they still had to deal with mundane problems like lice breakouts. While filming the Chamber of Secrets, the entire cast and crew had to be checked and treated for lice after they found out some cast members were infected. They were forced to pause filming for an entire day while they dealt with all the cases. Looks like the basilisk wasn't the only creature to worry about on set that year. We completely agree with Ron's fear of spiders, but we're not gonna lie, lice might be the creepy crawly we want to stay away from.
It's disgusting.
Imagine having to go to school and work, and still getting assigned extra homework. That's what happened to the Golden Trio at the start of The Prisoner of Azkaban. New director Alfonso Cuarón had the three young actors write character essays to make sure they understood Harry, Hermione and Ron completely. They each had to turn in basically an autobiography that explained how they entered the wizarding world and how their characters have grown since they were 11. Whilst the three of them seemed oddly okay with the whole situation, there was something that had Dan pretty annoyed about the whole essay thing.
I felt really so pleased with myself.
We all know filming a movie takes intense dedication. We're talking hours and hours on set, so can we really blame 13-year-old Tom Felton for sneaking sweets onto the set for long filming days? The young actor admitted he used to hide snacks in the pockets of his robes during the first films.
I don't know, I used to stuff a lot of chocolates and sweets inside the robe.
His technique caught on with the other actors, and soon the costume department was finding leftover snacks in all of the robes. Rumour has it that was the reason the pockets of the costume robes were sewn shut in the later films. We probably would have done the same. Imagine being tempted by all the prop food that lined the table of the Great Hall.
Ron's right, Harry. You're going to need your strength today.
If you thought watching the Battle of Hogwarts unfold in the Deathly Hallows was heartbreaking, wait until you find out what happened to the actual Hogwarts set. It burned down for real. During the filming of the Deathly Hallows, one of the special effects malfunctioned on set and caused a fire. They had been filming shots at Hogwarts, but something went wrong with one of the pyrotechnics. Luckily, none of the cast was on set when it happened, but they had to rebuild everything that had gotten destroyed. The damage apparently cost €100,000. That's over $120,000. We can't imagine how catastrophic that must have been.
Such a pity.
Growing up in the spotlight isn't easy. Just ask the entire Harry Potter cast. Whether it be how self-conscious they were being on camera during puberty, or feeling like they lost their childhood in some way, almost all the actors have spoken about the struggle. But in Dan's case, his struggle with the spotlight turned into some unhealthy coping mechanisms. During the filming for Half-Blood Prince, he suffered from substance abuse. He's admitted that although he never drank on set, he'd still sometimes be intoxicated when filming rolled around the next morning. It was all because he was trying to escape the feeling of being watched. Take a look.
The quickest way of forgetting about the fact that you were being watched was to get very drunk
We couldn't imagine anyone else but Emma Watson filling the shoes of Hermione Granger, but there was a point in time when we might have had to explore that. In the middle of the franchise, Emma was ready to give up her role in Harry Potter, and it was because her schedule was totally clashing with her education. She had dreams of going to college, and being Hermione was making that extremely difficult. Luckily, the producers were able to figure everything out. They did have to rework her entire filming schedule, but of course, it was worth it in the end. She finished the franchise and graduated from Brown University in 2014. Talk about a real-life Hermione.
I think we've had a bad influence on her.
Walking into the Great Hall alongside Harry for the first time was, well, magical, to say the least. With its towering ceiling, intimidating head table, and falling candles. Okay, well, we never actually got to see the candles fall, but they did. Before they brought the Great Hall's floating candles to life in the editing room, they tried using real lit candles. But as you've probably guessed, that didn't go too well. The candles burned through the strings that were supporting them, and they fell on the actors' heads. The only shot they ended up getting with real candles is the first scene of the first years walking into the Great Hall for the sorting ceremony in the Sorcerer's Stone.
Gryffindor!
You'll be pleased to know that the Hogwarts Express is a real train. And we're not just talking about the mock version at Universal Studios. That means when the production wasn't using the train, it had to be stored at a depot. For the most part, that worked out, except for the 2 times that it didn't. In 2003, a group of teens spray painted the outside of the train cars. Then in 2007, people went as far as to smash in the windows of the train. Luckily, they were able to get it cleaned and repaired both times so it could get its moment to shine in each film. Our hearts break just thinking about the train being ruined. It's basically an actual character at this point. It wasn't just the stunt doubles that got injured on the set of Harry Potter. While filming The Order of the Phoenix, Neville's actor Matthew Lewis suffered a pretty bad injury. While the cast was filming the intense scene in the Ministry of Magic, Helena Bonham Carter as Bellatrix put her wand in Matthew's ear. Matthew happened to move at the same time she did it, and it resulted in him rupturing his eardrum. Of course, the whole ordeal was an accident. Helena said, "I thought I could brandish the wand like a sort of Q-tip, sort of torture it." Matthew took no hard feelings for what happened and even tried to prevent Helena from feeling bad by hiding how bad he was actually hurt.
Fantastic, Neville. Well done.
Daniel Radcliffe wasn't the only actor who suffered mentally during the filming of the movies. Devon Murray's character, Seamus, was happy and go-lucky, even if he spent a lot of his scenes accidentally blowing things up. But off-screen, Devon was dealing with some major depression. It got to the point where his life was at risk. Take a listen to what he had to say about it.
I'd gone into the doctors and to the hospital. They said they don't know how long it can last for.
Despite the mishaps the cast and crew experienced throughout those 10 years, we're glad they were still able to pull through and create movies that'll probably resonate for generations. They do say everything happens for a reason. If you want more Harry Potter videos like this one, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching The Things.